To get through the two videos we're going to be talking about today, I watched them on 1.75 speed because they were just painful to get through and I just needed it done as fast as possible.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about Shane Dawson's return to YouTube again. I say that because he had previously not posted to his main channel in about 5 months, I believe. Prior to this, he had just been doing his podcast and posting it to the second channel. I had not heard anything alarmingly good about the podcast, so I have not been engaging with it whatsoever. And my personal opinion on Shane Dawson at this time is that when you had, how long was the apology video? Like a stupid amount of long time. Ooh, Shane Dawson cat is the first thing that pops up. That's weird. 2 years ago, Shane posted Taking Accountability, and it's 20 minutes long. And it's my understanding from my memory of the time that he did this in response to Jenna Marbles doing a similar video where Jenna Marbles decided, I am taking a step back from YouTube because I don't like these videos that I have made in the past. They're not okay. I've taken them down and I'm stepping away from the internet for a variety of reasons, but that was partially she was not happy with the content that she had made previously and she was choosing to step away of her own volition. No one had asked her to step away. No one asked her to take accountability for these things. She was choosing to because of everything that was going on in the world and has since been offline since then. Shane did a video taking accountability, 20 minutes long, talked about a variety of different things, including previously saying the N-word, blackface, and a variety of other things, allegations of really disgusting things he said about his cat, things that he had said on his podcast that were really inflammatory, his old podcast, not the current one. I have no idea what he's saying on his current podcast. Between that and then everything that happened with the bi-sister situation, when Tati Westbrook came out and shared about Shane's involvement, Jeffree's involvement. I had issues with Jeffree Star for a while, so it had nothing to do with that at that point. Since then, all of this, I have not engaged with Shane Dawson's content at all. I'm not interested in it in my free time. And then his new conspiracy theory video kept getting recommended to me. And then I saw what he was posting about it being not getting any love in the algorithm. I was like, okay, commentary video, let's go, let's talk. And so that's why I'm watching it. It's not because I'm enjoying Shane Dawson's content. It's not because I'm engaging with Shane Dawson's content. I'm doing it explicitly for the purpose of talking about it for a video and all of that. So I wanted to get that out of the way so people are not like, why are you giving him views because of X? I'm explaining why. If you choose to engage with this content, that is on you. I don't want to. After that, he had said that he had been taking a break from YouTube, he got married in that time and all of that, and then posted The Haunting of Shane Dawson, Haunted Stories with Shane Dawson, Ghost Hunting in a Haunted City, The Lawsuit of Shane Dawson. And these all got a fairly good amount of views. 7 million views, 4.3, 4.7, 4.6, 6.1. Are they much lower than some of his other series? Yes. At the height of his popularity, obviously, when you then go and show your ass basically for all the stuff that you've been accused of and the things that you have done, obviously your popularity takes a nosedive. It's not the algorithm, it's just your social capital at that point in time. Your clout score basically has gone down because people no longer want to engage with your content. They either remembered all those things that you did, even though it was never a secret. It was all, a lot of those videos were still on his channel of him doing blackface and stuff, So for whatever reason, that's my point, is that it's not the algorithm punishing you. It's just, here you go. This is the consequences of your actions. You took accountability, I guess, and this is what happened. But because all this happened, people revisited all of his other series, like the 9-episode commercial for his conspiracy palette that I never bought it. I never wanted it. And I still think it was poor taste that he named one of the shades Tanacon, personally. But yeah, the last video prior to the current one that he just posted 4 days ago at the time of me recording this was the end of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, and it's an hour long. The New World of Jeffree Star 5 months ago. And these all still got a decent amount of views, 3.9 million, 3.5 million, 3.2 million. Jeffree Star as a whole, because of everything that's come out about him in recent years, accusations of paying people off, the racism that has kind of been present throughout a lot of Jeffree's career. People don't want to support Jeffree Star at all anymore for the most part. When you hitch your wagon to someone like this publicly in these series, that's going to affect your outcome of your content. That's just how it's going to work. And if you choose to ignore that because this is my friend, I want to be this person to be in my content, I want to talk about this person, that type of thing, that's the risk that you take. Conspiracy Theories with Shane Dawson, 2023. Now, I was expecting several conspiracy theories, maybe more than one. So a year ago, I'm assuming around the same time. Yeah, March 15th. So almost exactly a year ago. Conspiracy theories with Shane Dawson 2023, 2022. Yeah, so exactly a year apart, almost. He goes through like one real conspiracy theory. Basically, it's Shane Dawson discovering what generic foods are and what white labeling is and all this other stuff. I don't know why this is a conspiracy theory. This is not new information. And the thing that I think got me about this whole video as well, as I'm watching it, and he's getting so worked up and so angry about being lied to because Aldi is ripping off these cookie companies or all this stuff. And I even went and watched the Let's Talk video that he posted on his second channel because I was like, okay, maybe he's going to address the, video. No, it's just like bonus content that he didn't want to put in the main video. So it's like a little vlog and he reacts to knockoff Girl Scout cookies from Aldi and actual Girl Scout cookies. And as a former Girl Scout, I don't think it really matters. When I was there, we got maybe $1, if that, per Girl Scout cookie box sold. Yeah, we don't get a say over much of anything. At least when I was doing it. It's been a few years now. I don't know if it's changed, but for the most part, we don't get a whole lot of say over the cookies situation. It's not new information. I don't know how it's a conspiracy theory, but also the thing that was very confusing to me is that, Shane, did you not grow up without money like me? Because I remember you used to always say like, oh no, I was poor, all this stuff. I don't know if he says that much now, but it used to be like this whole thing about like, oh, he has money now, but he didn't used to. Same, not the same amount of money that you have, but my family was broke. And it was not uncommon for my family to be like, hey, go grab this. No, not that one. Go grab the generic, or go grab the store brand. Go grab this because it's cheaper. And so I thought that was a very common thing about, growing up broke, essentially, or, with no money, is that you go and buy the generic version and not name brand. Don't buy the name brand version, buy the other one. Because it tastes the same, but it's cheaper. Sometimes it looks a little shifty, but like normally it's fine. That was like a part of my upbringing, and I'm assuming that was a part of yours too. So I don't know why this is in your other video. You say I'm 35 years old. I can understand like a 16-year-old making this, maybe like someone who's just finally starting to make their own purchases, or maybe an 18-year-old who's just moved out, started going to college, started buying their own groceries and things like that, and is realizing all of this, and it's like, I'm gonna crack this wide open, and makes a big deal about it. Like that, I can understand coming from someone like that. I would be less like critical, I guess. But like you say so yourself, you're 35 years old. You've grown up without money. I can't imagine that this is that shocking to you. This can't be the first time you've experienced it, just because all these are becoming way more popular out here in the West Coast specifically. I know that an old store of mine in my hometown just got replaced by an Aldi. I still have not gone in yet, but I go to a grocery outlet, also a bunch of generic versions of a grocery outlet. And they talk about Trader Joe's in this and how Trader Joe's is actually white labeled and that you never know unless there's a recall. I mean, if you look at the manufacturing on the packaging, it'll tell you where they were made. When I did my podcast with Bill Marler for the Daily Harvest lawsuit, he talked about how they were trying to find out the manufacturing plant for Daily Harvest, because Daily Harvest actually only provides the packaging for Daily Harvest, and that the actually had a separate manufacturer manufacturing everything. And I was like, oh, people were surprised by that because these direct-to-consumer brands think that everything is being done in-house and they're not white labeling, basically. But then to find out that they were white labeling and all this other stuff. He shows at one point, this is my Starbucks tumbler. I love it. Here's the same exact tumbler that I got from Five Below that does not have the Starbucks logo on it, but it was $5 and it's literally the exact same tumbler. Yeah. And it's just a little ridiculous, and for him to continuously be like, oh my God, this is so shocking. Maybe for him it is, but with all the other information that we have about Shane Dawson, I can't imagine that this is the first time that you think that this is a thing. And maybe he's just discovering this as far as food goes, and that's what floors him. So he talks about Trader Joe's and how, oh, you think that there's a Trader Joe's factory there and all of that, and everything's just private labeled. I still like that they said it's not real. And then they had a little note that said they do exist. It's just private labeled. I've talked quite a lot about what you're paying for when you pay for, like, say, a product from a content creator. Like I talked about this when I did Chamberlain coffee from Emma Chamberlain. People were floored about how much per cup of coffee it was or something because it was Emma Chamberlain coffee. And I said, yeah, you're paying for Chamberlain coffee from Emma Chamberlain. You're paying a premium because it's coming from this YouTuber. That is what you're paying for. There's this whole debate or discussion once again being had on TikTok right now about jewelry and fine jewelry and jewelry being made like to look like Cartier Love bracelets from private jewelers that is still good quality metal gold, silver, platinum, what have you, but it's much cheaper because you're having it inspired by the brand made by someone else. And people are calling it tacky and all this stuff. It's like, it's still the same materials. You're just not getting it for an additional $10,000 from Cartier, but you're getting the same exact look and style and design for a fraction of the price from a reputable jeweler. But that's the discussion having. It's like, yeah, you're paying for the brand name. That's what you're paying for. Same goes with Trader Joe's. Same goes with Doritos. You're paying for the brand name and the brand recognition. It's going to cost more money. They talked about the divots in the nuts and peanuts, I believe, at a certain point. I remember years ago, a news story about inflation, and it's like, oh, you think you're getting the same amount of peanut butter, but you're actually getting 3 ounces less because of the divot that they put, the dimple they put at the bottom of the peanut butter. Same goes with like the jumbo chip bag. A lot of what they're talking about is just marketing. And you can say that you're being lied to. If anything, I hope people look at his video and they're like, wow, I'm going to be a more educated consumer now and I'm going to make better choices and all of that, because inflation is a big deal. To say that this is all a conspiracy theory is a little ridiculous. Shane's husband, Ryland, at one point says, I never have service inside of grocery stores, because they compare grocery stores to how there's no clocks, very few windows, and that there's no music. And it's because they want you to get lost in there and spend too much time in there, like how casinos do. They stole that move from casinos. I hear music in grocery stores quite often, not all the time, but quite frequently. Target, I know for a fact, does not do music because they want you to get lost in Target. That's their whole shtick. That's the point. They want you to get lost in there. That's why there's no clocks. That's an individual company thing. I don't think it's like a grocery store thing. I know they filmed this 3 or 4 times and they just cut it together because they're filming right outside the door to the store. And it's like, look, everything's loading. Here is YouTube. Here's an article, showing that the phone is loading. And then they go inside. They say, okay, so we're right inside the store. However, they're by the milk products and they're clearly at the end of the aisle, which means that they are so deep into the store that they are at the end of the aisle of the store and they're not near the doors, which makes me think that they tried it 2 or 3 times, like just inside the store and in the middle of the store, and it was working. So then they went all the way to the back and they're like, look, now it's not working. Nothing's loading. You mean to tell me that a building that is designed to hold a lot of refrigerated items and stock and storeroom probably has like really thick walls and beams and metals and refrigeration systems and all this other stuff that may interact with cell reception? You mean to tell me that buildings be building? They don't have cell phone jammers in the store. It's just how the building is, because they have to preserve the items, the food items in there. Also, who's your phone provider? I think that would have been pertinent information. That might have been something that we should have known, because it sounds like that would probably affect, where you have service and all of that. For example, I'm not telling you, actually, never mind. Okay, on one hand, I get why you didn't, because I know there's quite a few people who have been hacked because they shared the provider. But I have been in places where because of my provider that I'm on, am the only person that has service in the middle of like Rachel, Nevada, in the desert when I went to the raid on Area 51. I was the only person that regularly had cell service out there. I didn't have any issues while I was out there, but everyone else did and had to like huddle by the little alien to be on their Wi-Fi to be able to upload their YouTube videos and tweets and what have you. Now, there are places where I have no service. For example, at Angel Stadium, I have terrible service at Angel Stadium, but then I just go on their Wi-Fi. It's not a big deal. I think it's because of the refrigeration, the size of the building, the design of the building. Do I think they designed the building with purpose of let's keep people inside like they're at a casino? No, I think they're designing to make sure that the food that they have in storage and in the shelves and refrigeration and all the wiring and the lights and system and all of that, they're trying to preserve that. I don't think they're purposely trying to block out your self-service. That's just me. Then they go to a motel seemingly for no reason. And that's where they eat all the food and they order from Red Robin. And then they Instacart from Red Robin and like 2 other restaurants. And they all come and it's literally the exact same containers, burgers, meals. It's a ghost kitchen. They start talking about ghost kitchens. Eddie Burback did a good video on ghost kitchens. I've previously talked about ghost kitchens for Mr. Beast Burger, Gay Burger, Lorraine's Loaded Mac and Cheese. It's a popular topic right now. Basically, restaurants that are already conducting business to get more business. Either an outside company comes to them and says, hey, we want to have this restaurant, you get this percentage of orders, we get this percentage, you make all the meals, or the companies themselves are trying to hide that they're the ones making their food. They did Pizzelli's, and it was actually Chuck E. Cheese, because Shane Dawson, of course, he used to talk about Chuck E. Cheese. Piccadilly's Pizza, or whatever it's called, is Chuck E. Cheese. That was exposed back in 2020 during lockdown when Chuck E. Cheese was probably going to go under. They started doing Piccadilly's, and it was exposed that it was actually Chuck E. Cheese trying to sell pizzas because no one was buying pizzas from Chuck E. Cheese, but it was all Chuck E. Cheese. Is it that big of a deal? Not particularly. It's not new. People changing the name of their company because they're worried about how it's going to sell, that's not new either. I don't know. Maybe it's because it takes him forever to make a video like this, and that's why it seems to just be very out of touch and very old news. Like it's not pertinent. It's not shocking. The generic food thing is just ridiculous. I don't believe your reactions just because, you know, you've talked about, you know, how you grew up not having a lot of money and all this stuff. And I just can't believe that you're just now learning about generic food brands. You know, I just don't buy it. Basically, he posted that the algorithm was not giving him any love on the video and that's why he was hoping people were asking for shares, and I haven't done this in 10 years. I think everyone asked for shares. That's not a new thing. But the video had like 400,000 views in one day. That's pretty good for a channel that hasn't uploaded in, you know, 4 months. And now it's at 1.4 million views. And at the time of me watching this yesterday, this and his other video from his second channel were both on the trending page. This one was ranked number 47. The other one was ranked number 14 because it says let's talk. So it sounds like a YouTube apology video. Anyways, that's going to be it. My battery's going to die, so I got to go. Did you watch Shane Dawson's new videos? What are your thoughts on Shane Dawson's new videos? What are your thoughts on Shane Dawson's return to YouTube? What do you think about his more recent videos, his content, his podcast? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, the Swell Entertainment podcast. Reminder, I have merch. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. If you'd also explore my Patreon, that'll be listed down below. I just want to know social media. That'll be all up here. And that's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. Also, the music in the video was just super loud. I don't really think it helped anything as far as the video goes. I think it was just way too loud, way too long. And yeah, okay, bye.
Thank you, Andrew, Alan, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Crispy, Crispy, Crash PC, China, Dirty One, Don, Donnie, Elliot, Evan, Eric, Eal, Hopeless Homer, Incognito, Isaiah, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kim, Kirsten Lamb, Lex, Lisa, Luis, May West, Madeline, Matt, Matthew, Meme Lord, Mia, Michael, Michael J, Michael T, Micah, Nathaniel, Pat, Penn, Richard, Rob, Rosie, Fred, Robert, Ross, Ryan, Sam, Serena, Skylar, Simon, Tasha, Timothy, Heavenly Plastic, Tenzin, Tom, Thomas, Qwerty, Victor, Randy, Winter, Wendy, William, Will, Zendry's Wing.